Mario 64 is a magical game, and in the Mario series, I'd say it's a one-of-a-kind in terms of that feeling, that no matter what, it feels nostalgic to play. No matter the age or when you play it, the game still feels nostalgic to play. But now, what makes Mario 64 nostalgic? Feeling nostalgic yet? The opening cutscene, something so simple yet so memorable. This opening cutscene is, well, it's short. It starts with Peach talking to Mario, aka the player, to come to the castle like coming home. And then we have a little build up with the pompous sounding music building up to Mario jumping out of the pipe, and then it hits you with a This little opening cutscene is so simple and short, yet it's effective because of why it feels nostalgic to play this game again. Peach inviting you to the castle, a safe place to build up, get an opening cutscene dedicated to your arrival. You are made special. You are glamorized for your adventure that you will partake in. It's an intro which takes to the first point of why this feels always nostalgic. Because it feels nostalgic for giving yourself grandeur in a simple way. It encompasses the way I assume most of us as kids would play and give ourselves bolstered personalities for what role we filled in when playing. Then, on the outside, we're given no music, just birds. And we can play around for a little bit, like, and playing outside. We can mess around for a wee bit before walking inside, which hits you with the music, like ambient home sounds that every house has. And again, the music feels homey and calming, that you're expected to be safe here. A safe space like home is meant to be for, hopefully, everyone. The occasional toad here and there around the castle feels like family, because there's not too many of them. Only like 4 around the entire castle, and the toads feel like family because the castle isn't flooded with NPCs. Unlike something with Mario Galaxy 2, where there's like 20 something characters on Starship Mario, which feels more like a gang than homey nostalgia. And the castle itself feels simple, which I'll get into in a moment. But that part is the point, as even without playing this game before, on a first time playthrough, it would feel nostalgic because of its feeling like a simple build up for something you're meant to make your own adventure out of your own fun, which leads me to the graphics. Like, look at them, they're both simple and undetailed like an NES game, but detailed enough to get the point and convey basic imagery. Like, oh, this is a star, this is a Mario, this is Adolf Hitler. But with the simple graphics, it leaves stuff to the imagination of how things would look if higher poly or hardware limitations weren't there. What should be like, for example, the castle, which is empty. But what if this room with the slide was like an office? What if the room with the level Hazy Maze Cave was an arena? What if this room was a gas chamber? Simple stuff where it's not the forethought of the mind, but like a background thought for this game. Like when you imagine a little guy doing parkour when in the car. And even the paintings feel like something that we would have thought of as children. Or was I just weird? About entering paintings and being in the environment that's inside of the painting. And second lastly, for why Mario 64 will always feel nostalgic, the stage design in this game is what it feels like a child would think of. It's simple, and the solutions to puzzles are usually ambiguous, like either do the slide or jump kick, either use the cannon to shoot to the snowman head or climb it, either take the main path or shortcut in Cool Mountain in the slide. But as talk about the levels are simple. Like the themes are things like, oh, Snowy Mountain with a cool slide, Snowy Mountain with a big snowman and an igloo, a lava lake with volcanoes and platforms, a big house with ghosts that has a merry-go-round. A lot of levels here are just things that a kid would think of for interesting or cool things. And they play like Floor is Lava, and yes, I'm taking this from the Nathaniel Bandy Pie Guy Rules video, thank you very much. But, yeah, the levels do play like kids games. It's why it feels nostalgic. It feels like being a kid again, and the more open levels also just feel like levels where you make your own adventure and eventually reach the end. Have the joy, like previously said, you make your own path, your own journey, your own story. You play the levels you want. You get the stars in the order you want. And you play mostly like choosing what toys to play with when you're obviously younger. And last point, the music. It's simple and shared across multiple levels, like childhood songs between places. Yes, it was to save space on the Mario 64 cartridge, as Nintendo 64 cartridges couldn't hold too much information. But it did also add the feeling like being a kid, especially a credit sequence, which I made a video on so from whatever. But yes, that's why Mario 64 feels nostalgic all the time, no matter when you play it. Be it your first time playthrough when you're 20, or your 500th playthrough when you're 2 years old. As the stages have you either doing childhood games in stages that feel like they came from a child's mind, or you would make your own fun, your own adventure in the levels. The homey feeling of Peach's castle with a few toads that feel like family, and the music adding a fun ambience and a nostalgic feeling, especially because the music was it was in the early stages of getting audio onto a console or a cartridge through the TV via the AV cables, so it still had that blocky, somewhat, I don't know, low-bit sounding feeling to it, and especially with Mario sound effects that just feel happy with all the yahoos and just the 8-bit sounds. Okay, I know they're not 8-bit, but the low, I don't know how to describe sounds, okay? I'm not a sound technician. But that's the end of the video. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe, and if not, tell me why in the comments. And if you have any other ideas for why Mario 64 always feels nostalgic, let me know in the comments. And if I'm just going insane, well, let me know in the comments too, because I'd really like to know. But other than that, I'll see y'all later.